Hello and welcome to The Conversation. You're with India Post Live, India's first online news conversation web TV. What we're going to discuss right now is, of course, one of the issues that we keep seeing after every election, and that is, the rising income of our parliamentarians, and this time it's going to be no different. But before we take you through to exactly the finer points of the story, we've prepared a report for you. Take a look. The 16th Lok Sabha has not just given a simple majority to the first non-Congress party, the BJP, but it is also the richest in our country's history. 4 out of every 5 MPs in parliament have assets over 10 million rupees, a whopping 82% crore-patis in 2014, while the same in 2009 was 58% and 30% in 2004. That makes an average Congress MP worth 160 million rupees, while the same is 110 million rupees for the BJP. Political parties from erstwhile Andhra Pradesh have the highest average of richest MPs. Telugu Desam Party, Jagan Mohan Reddy's YSRCP and the Telangana Rashtriya Samiti. The average for these three regional parties is more than 500 million rupees per MP. At a time when the country is not exactly doing well in terms of its economy, one wonders how our parliamentarians keep their stock heading north. So there you have it. Again, the number of crorepati MPs going up, and to discuss more on this, I have with me Ashok Wankhede, senior journalist, and Anil Verma, the be-all and end-all as the Sarv Sangh Chalak of the Association for Democratic Reforms. Anil sir, I'd like to start with you first. I mean, consistently we've seen, the kind of reports that you keep coming up with. But I've always wondered, I mean, how much of hard work goes into this report? I mean, it's very easy to just read down the report. But can you tell us more into what all goes into it when you prepare the report?
Okay, firstly, I'll tell you that our system is that we download the data from the Election Commission website when the affidavits are filed by the candidates. And all our reports are generated from those from that information. And we start the process as and when the nomination papers are filed, and it takes a lot of, we've got a team of about 25 odd data entry people who are just doing that. And during the Lok Sabha elections, we hired about another 40-50 located in different parts of the country who were constantly, because the languages and other issues are involved, and they are constantly doing the data entry, and then we collate it. We've got a tool in our software which generates the report as per the format which we want. So I can tell you this much, that my people for the last 40-45 days have not had a single day's holiday and they've been working from morning 8 o'clock till about 10-11 every day. So that is the type of work which is involved in generation of these reports.
Okay, I'm sure, Ashok sir, you also not had a break, because of the election.
Yes, because Modi has kept us on the toes for last more than 6 months or so. But Sanjeev, what I personally feel, that now since we have the person who has really come out with the data and who has studied and analyzed the data, there are two aspects to it. One is the member of parliament who is already a millionaire contesting election and coming to the house. Another is a member of parliament who was a millionaire 5 years back. After 5 years back, he becomes a billionaire. So there are two aspects to it. Now, for last few elections, if you see, the elections have become more costlier and more costlier. People are more demanding. Gone are the days, even the political parties also, they used to give a call for the rally and people used to come. Now you have to get the people for the rally. You have to make the arrangements for them. It's not only the lunch packet and the dinner packet. You have to also provide them the liquor and also some cash in hand. Now, and the region to region. I still remember in Madhya Pradesh, we used to feel, when I was working in Madhya Pradesh, the Sagar belt, Sagar Satna belt, where the Tendupatta lives and the Bidi people were contesting elections. That time they were spending a lot and it was the talk of the town. But now, every constituency you go, you feel if you want to contest the election, you need to pump in. Rather, even thinking of contesting the election, becoming a candidate for a political party, you need to shell out money. Coming to Delhi for 10 trips, for lobbying a ticket, cost you hell of money. You see the rates of the hotels in Delhi, you see the airfare. So it starts from there. And then you have to put in money, and till the day of the polling, you have to make sure that the so-called booth worker, they are not worker, they are paid. You have to pay the people working there, and then you get the results. That is one aspect. So elections have become very costly. You are talking about Andhra Pradesh.
Yeah.
Let me tell you, during the entire election period, in this 14th Lok Sabha election, the total amount confiscated by the election commission, 80% is from Andhra Pradesh alone.
My God.
That much cash was flowing freely on the road, which was seized by the election commission. Now the amount, the promises they made at individual level, somebody will promise you LED TV, somebody will promise you so many things, and latest gazettes,
Okay. Yeah.
to the voters,
Yeah.
to the small lots which are controlling 100 and 200 and 500 chunk of the voters.
And Anil sir, I'd like to ask you this. I mean, is this parties, like the fact that you came up with that Andhra is the richest number of, I mean, in terms of average, is it a phenomenon more seen in regional parties?
No, not necessarily. But yes, there are certain states where the crorpatis are more, and they are Andhra Pradesh, Karnataka, UP, Punjab. These are the states where there are more. But coming to the larger question, you see, nowadays it is, I will use the term, this political entrepreneurs. This is what these people are. And like he mentioned, we've carried out a number of studies, and there is a nexus between the money and the crime. The more criminal cases a person has against him, and the more rich he is, his chances of winning are. Party which is in power, whether in the states or in the center, if you do an analysis of their assets, you will find that they increase in much more larger percentage than compared to the others. So one part is the expenditure on the political or the election expenditure done by the political parties and this thing. The other part is the expenditure done by the government on the conduct of elections. Like he mentioned, in 2009 it was about 1300 crores which was spent, and this time it is 3400 crores. That is the type of difference. Of course, this time the election commission said that because of the sweep and the really outreach which they did, and because of which I think it resulted
systems, observers, the booth-wise
observers and
observers,
this thing, and
they had
digitized-
riders. In some of the areas, they had riders to immediately pass on the information, right, Naxalite area. So new things were coined. So
the major issue is that there is no ceiling on the funding of the political parties.
Yeah.
There is no regulation, there is no law which governs the political parties. Why is it so?
when there is a ceiling on the expenditure of a candidate, why there has to be ceiling on the political party also? So if you exceed your expenditure, you club it with
Show
the
it as
party,
party expense.
Yes.
and the party has no limits. So virtually it's a big joke
Okay.
when they say that we have a ceiling on a candidate's expenditure.
Okay, I'd like to bring in people on Skype. We've got Sanjay Singh, political editor of First Post, with us. Sir, thank you so much for joining in the conversation. Can you hear us, sir?
Yeah, very loud and clear.
Sir, we were discussing Crorepati MPs. I mean, this time from 52-53%, it has gone up to 80%. Your comments?
I have a slightly different take on the subject, because if you see Crorepati, even small somebody who owns a flat in Mayur Vihar. So how do you classify that? So honestly, there are also people, more and more professionals are coming to politics. I have not seen the exact data prepared by the PRS, but then the fact remains that if you bracket somebody as Crorepati, you, in a way, you talk sarcastically about the person, you also denigrate person, because there is a general assumption that a neta should not just be pro-poor, but should also appear to be poor. Why should a neta necessarily appear to be poor? After all, he has certain tasks to take in his own constituency, and if there is more and more political entrepreneurs, as somebody was saying, my first experience out there in Delhi Municipal Corporation was they used to get some 350 rupees per annum. And if you expect an MP to carry out all his work with lakh or 50, about which we talk so much, we generally see richest among them or best among them who have big cars, but we don't generally see people who come to parliament in buses, in ferry services, and the amount of work they have to carry out in constituencies. If a genuine kind of, also there have been cases where people's assets have gone up 10 times or 15 times, but then there are certain cases where people undervalued their assets. Say piece of land has gone up to 100 crores or 50 crores or whatever, because India has suddenly become one of the costliest place on this planet, costlier than USA. So how do you justify or how do you rate these netas? It is not always, I don't think it is always good to look crorepati netas in bad light.
I have a point. When we see a member of parliament, when he comes as a first timer, you see him traveling in a bus. Immediately within 2 months, he changes his car. He gets a car. Most of the places, I don't want to name the people, but by the end of the 5 years, when he goes back, he takes a BMW with him. That thing also we have seen. I have seen the member of parliament from the left parties, they take the place into VP house and one room they keep for themselves. But there are member of parliaments, they hire 2 flats, they stay in one flat and give another flat on hire. Their garage is on hire, their servant quarter is on hire, their barsati is on hire. There are so many people. If you go to South Avenue, North Avenue, lot of brokers are active. You want a barsati? New MPs have come. Immediately tell, this is the rate. Ongoing rate of a barsati is 15,000 in South Avenue and North Avenue.
So I think, Sanjay sir, before we come to you, I think Anil Verma wants to make a point.
Yeah, I want to respond to him that we are not grudging anybody becoming a crorepati. With my flat, even I am a crorepati. But the issue is, the larger issue is that there is a nexus between crime and money. That is what we are against. Because him, the more money he has, that is why the party gives him ticket, because he can spend money on himself and he gives money to the party also. And obviously when he comes to power, he is going to retrieve that 10 times over. Where is the doubt in that? There have been people like Nandan Likar Kaling who has assets of 7,700 crores. There was a lady, Miss Rama Das from West Bengal, independent. She declared 2,000 crores assets. They did not win, both of them. That is why this assets average figure is a little low. Otherwise it would have been even higher. But notwithstanding that, we agree with you that there are people who are professionals, who may have been businessmen or whatever, they've earned money. There's no doubt about that. But the issue is there is no transparency in the expenditure which the political parties can quote to you based on our analysis and research that earlier the limit was 40 lakhs. None of the candidates has shown an expenditure of 40 lakhs. Nobody crossed 60% of the expenditure, and then they wanted it to increase, and now it has been increased to 70 lakhs. And you see the reports when they submit them after 30 days, they will always undershow the report. So the issue is about transparency and the political will to improve. It is not there.
Sir, Sanjay sir, do you agree with what he's saying about the fact that there is some sort of linkage between crime and crorepati's?
A linkage between crime and crorepati's, yes. Those who indulge in crime become crorepati's. That is a fact. But then there are also people who are crorepati's and indulge in crime. But there are others also. And you see, if you see Aam Aadmi Party's rise in Delhi and their candidates winning, this does not necessarily link with criminals getting into politics and crorepati criminals and winning elections. So these
By the way,
things are
Aam Aadmi
separate.
Party has
Sir,
also got a lot of people who got
they have
criminal
two different
cases.
things. I have a small point to make. When Ashutosh resigned, he wrote a piece in a newspaper saying that I want to buy a laptop, I am worried who will pay the installment of the laptop. And I was really, because he's a friend of mine, I thought so bad about it. Later on, when he filed his nomination form, he had some assets of worth
He was also
more
crorepati.
than 10 crores. Now, man having more assets more than 10 crore, I don't think that he will have to worry about installments of a laptop.
Okay.
So most of the time, when we come into the politics, we try to show them that we are the poor, we are from the common people. But when we have to put it in black and white, now Narendra Modi, when he filed his first nomination in Gujarat and the second nomination at Banaras, the difference in cash in hand was near about 24 lakh rupees.
Okay.
Now that is one way of thinking. Within a month, the 24 lakh rupees was a cash in hand, was more shown in the affidavit. Now these are not our figures, these are the figures with the election commission.
Yes, yes.
Sir, I'd also like to bring in Pradeep Basak, who's been patiently waiting and listening to the conversation. Pradeep is a political commentator. Hi Pradeep, can you hear us?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah, what is your take as far as, millionaires and parliamentarians go hand in hand in India?
To the time when actually Supreme Court passed the order in May 2002 for disclosure of criminal antecedents, educational qualifications, assets and liabilities. Remember, after the Supreme Court gave this judgment, you are able to hear me?
Yeah, we can hear you. Go ahead.
All the legislatures brought in an ordinance first and then passed it in Parliament, negating the judgment of the Supreme Court. Thanks to the Supreme Court, it accepted back and declared that legislation as unconstitutional and forced itself, telling clearly to the legislators that you cannot pass a law which can curtail the fundamental right of. So now the citizen has a right to know your criminal antecedents, assets, liabilities, and all. So remember that time also legislators were fearful. If such information, such explosive information comes out, so there will be a problem. Now, thank God the legislation has come, we have the information. But beyond that, what worries me is, information has actually not been used properly. So we see that more and more number of crorepatis entering into legislature. We know it, but we cannot help it. So that's my take, initial take. Quickly to add it is, the role of election commission. See, I read an article in Frontline where it clearly says that both BJP and Congress have spent more than 500 crore rupees in the PR, big media and all influence. What the election commission is doing on this information, so should they investigate into it? So the role of election commission also comes into play here.
Okay, sir.
Context, yeah.
Okay, Pradeep. So, he's trying to say that, what we were discussing, that as far as the cap on political parties is concerned, that's not there. So.
That's what we were discussing. But again, coming back to the crorepati thing, we are not here, that we are not criticizing that if you are a crorepati, you are a criminal.
Yeah.
But if you take the statistics of the parliament, very few professionals have come up that they are. Now, Shatrughan Sinha, if he is crorepati because he is an actor.
Yeah.
But a real estate don, he becomes a member of parliament. We had one real estate guy, a broker, who became a home minister in Haryana.
Yeah.
What was he? A simple small
Gopal
operator.
Kanda.
He started. He even owned airlines.
Yeah.
Now, because of money power only, he was into the house. Otherwise, he had no other USP with him. So that is what is worrying.
Sir, I'd also like to bring in Alok sir into the conversation. Sir, you also mentioned in your report that, chances of winning based on assets, and goes on to say that 29% of the candidates with assets more than 10 crores won in the Lok Sabha elections. Yeah. That's an interesting piece of data, came along.
Yeah, see, we had analyzed that when the candidates file in their nomination papers, we do a study as to what is the average assets of these candidates. But invariably, the winners, when they are declared, the assets go up. And the same is with criminal cases. Till the last phase of Lok Sabha election, till the 9th phase, the average percentage of criminal cases was 17%, and the winners is 34%, exactly double. So, as per our analysis, over the years we've been doing, and let me tell you, we've got a database of 80,000 people,
My God.
of whose data we have analyzed. So ours is based purely on statistics. It is not hearsay or any other this thing. So we definitely find a linkage between the two. And incidentally, the Supreme Court judgment which Mr. Pradeep mentioned was a petition by ADR. That is how we started.
Okay.
That was the basis of all these issues.
Yeah, I'd like to bring in Sanjay Singh again. Sir, can you hear us? Yeah, sir, earlier, Crorepati's, we saw more of them in the Rajya Sabha, because it was easy to elect them through the MLAs. But now, do you see, them crossing over to the Lok Sabha?
Yeah. See, Sanjeev, I was not there in between, but it is nobody's case that if you become a neta, if you become a politician, you gain disproportionate clout, completely disproportionate to your ability, and therefore you can influence people, you can influence decisions, and therefore you make money. There are people who, of course, make money through vocation of politics, and therefore this is said that there is need to change the political system, and more good people should come into politics. That point besides, there are also cases where, in certain cases, my point was when you bracket this Crorepati, and on the other hand, if you bracket criminals, like I was reading a report that Narendra Modi, PM designate and Anil Advani figure in the list of people who have criminal cases. Now look at the case against Modi, for instance. The case is of that violation of model code of conduct because he displayed lotus. Does his name figure in list of criminal candidates? Yes. Then in that case, it becomes, to me, a kind of slightly, the debate becomes irrelevant. If the debate is actually on criminality of a candidate, criminality of conduct, and making money through illegitimate means, than simply bracketing that as Crorepati's or criminals, then that would be a better debate, I suppose.
Okay, I think Anil sir wants to respond to your query, sir.
The normal response of any politician is that all these cases are politically motivated. भाई हम तो धरना दे रहे थे, हम तो ये कर रहे थे, and cases have been registered. But what do you say about the guys with serious criminal cases? 21% out of these have got serious criminal cases, which means a sentence of 5 years or more, which includes offenses like murder, attempt to murder, rape, dacoity, robbery, kidnapping. Now, are these also false cases? Are these also politically motivated cases? I don't think so, because knowing the history of those people, you can easily make out as to what type of character those people have.
Anilji, I have one point, a small point, because this is a simple individual case study I have seen. When I read a name of Gopinath Munde, who was facing a criminal charges of adoption. So I asked him. So he was telling me, 15 years back, some MLAs were missing from their house, and their families lodged a complaint against Gopinath Munde. The case is still on. Now in corporation, most of the municipal corporation, you find the majority is very thin. So during some election, like standing committee chairman, so 2 corporators will be missing. Their family will lodge a complaint that the opposite party, the chairman or the mayor, has taken them off on a gunpoint. After but the case continues and there is no end to the case.
Fair enough.
So that case remains on his name. Now Gopinath Munde would never do that, what he's been charged for. So there are certain cases of that.
As far as criminal cases are concerned, I'm sure because we've covered all these netas, so we need to have some sort of a discriminatory attitude so that we know which is right. But sir, coming back to the Crorepatis, I want to bring in Ajay sir into it, sir. Does it also somewhere reflect that our netas are more open to? I mean, we are seeing more people from various walks of life coming into it. I mean, in the sense, Anil sir, that earlier it was only the politician entered politics? Are we seeing, a lateral entry into politics, which is why the number of professionals who are coming in and the crorepati figures are going up?
It is, I think, now only with the Aam Aadmi Party, which has made a advent into the political system, that we see people with different backgrounds, professionals and others who have started coming in. And we are also seeing that they are having a difficult time, and we'll have to wait and see as to how they do.
Okay, we'll just like
I
to.
also have a small point. Now, when we talk of crorepati, we have to take inflation into account. What sir has said, if you hold a flat in Mayur Vihar, then he becomes a crorepati.
But
So
sir,
we have to really see the asset.
Delhi-
Means you have to analyze data more. What assets he has got.
Sir, Delhi NCR only has about 15-20 MPs, so I mean it can only
it's
apply
not-
to
it's
them.
not. No, even one of my friend who is a very senior journalist, Ajay Upadhyay, happens to be from Basti in UP.
Yeah.
He was telling me a plot in Basti will cost you so much that you can't imagine. And I said, what about Basti? He said, there was a poem, there was a couplet written on Basti. यदि बस्ती को बस्ती कहे तो किसे कहे उजाड़. That was the story of a Basti. But now even that Basti, if you buy a small plot, you have to pay near about 40 lakh, 50 lakh rupees.
Okay.
So the land prices have
Fair
gone
enough.
up because
Fair
of land prices, the agriculture holding and the property which you have inherited. You become naturally a crorepati.
Okay.
But that's what I said initially. We'll have to see what was you when you came as a member of parliament and what are you when you are living as a member of parliament.
So let's have a look at this graphic. I mean, there it goes. Less than 1 crore, 94 MPs, 1 to 25 crore. That's like, I mean, I think Indira Gandhi had those figures in 1980.
Yeah, 386.
And of course, then 25 to 50 goes. Then we see tapering down, 30, 18, 200 crore and above. So you were right. In fact, if you had Nandan Nilekani there, perhaps.
200 plus.
Yeah.
Most of the Andhra people you will find 200 crore, 200 and above.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So
So if you take it party-wise also, as we have given in the report, there are about
Yes.
6 parties where 100% MPs who have won are crorepatis.
wow.
There is a
In fact,
bar chart in that.
as far as Chhattisgarh was concerned, I mean, in a state like Chhattisgarh, out of 11, you have 10 crore-patis.
Chhattisgarh Adivasi, those who are ministers, the Adivasi leadership, they are not just emerging within a month or a year. They are Adivasi leaders for ages.
But
So they own a
crorepati is
petrol
there.
pump, they own a gas agency, they own all government, whatever government has handed over, they own everything.
But the
So they are
other-
not less than a king.
But another aspect, apart from what he pointed out, that when they join politics and when they leave their position of power, what the escalation in their assets is the question of providing a level playing field.
Yeah.
How are you providing a level playing field to a normal, common man, like say if he wants to contest? Does he have any chance in hell?
No way.
Absolutely no way. So this is another aspect which we have. After all, it is a democracy. Everybody has a
He
right to
can
contest
contest,
election.
he can file the nomination. Let us make it more simple. He can only file a nomination.
That's
Not more
it.
than that.
That's it.
Not more than that. He cannot even go and see the rates of the banner outside, flags. And this Aam Aadmi Party has made that topi that cap so costly now.
Okay, final comments. We'll go to Sanjay Singh. Sir, your final comments as far as crore-patis are concerned. I mean, we don't want to brand them as, people who just come to make money, but on the whole, the figure's gone up. 2004, it was 30%, then it went to about 50% in 2009. Now it's at 80% in 2014. Are we going to see it cross 100% the next time?
And then we'll start looking at billionaires.
Yeah, certainly, Sanjeev, there is no doubt that too much money is involved in politics. Otherwise, nobody would come to this particular vocation because the risk factor is so high that otherwise, apart from money, if that did not attract prospective netas, and I don't know what would attract, but you could go down to rural areas and also to villages and suburban areas, you realize how much money is there in politics. The devolution of power and Panchayati Raj system, if you look at not just MPs, look at people at block levels, people who used to be there with bicycles, now they are riding over Pajeros and this new car of Toyota is a big in thing now these days. So of course money is there, but then one should not, my point was one should not bracket netas as crorepati's and denigrate them. Yes, there should be some incentives. Every time some small perks are added to NMAs or MPs. There's so much review and pride. Of course, they also need money, but money should be earned through legitimate means. My point was that.
Okay.
What has happened after Supreme Court has given this particular ruling, and also there is great deal of awareness that people are generally bracketing their assets into right figures than kind of hiding 100% as it was the case in past. So my reservation was only on that point. Yes, there is too much of money in politics, too much of illegitimate money, too much of disproportionate clout to somebody's ability, which they influence to hundreds of wrong things. I don't justify that.
Okay, fair enough. Got your point, sir. Ashok sir, I mean, before you make
taking a clue from sir, he said it's a high risk business. Okay, agreed. Now, in a high risk business, nobody would like to put in his hard earned money. So whatever, if you are a crorepati, if you have to have other means of income of sources, you cannot make a legitimate income. You cannot become a crorepati, and if you become a crorepati with a legitimate income, then you don't take that high risk of joining a politics. When
Why
you have
not sit at
ample
home?
money, money power and muscle power, they go together. That is what he is saying, the criminal and this thing.
Yes.
So if you take a study at a micro level, you find most of the MPs, with 80-90% of the MPs, they have some of the other don attached to them. They have their common interests, and the real estate is a big thing.
yeah.
And what he was saying about the Pajero, I would like to give a small this thing, that what Shahnawaz Hussain told us. He said, when as a member of parliament I toured my area, the Panchayati Raj has given so much of money to the Sarpanch and everybody. So they travel in a bigger brand than a member of parliament. So my workers started saying, Saab gaadi badlo, please change the vehicle. I said, why, this vehicle is good? He said, no, ab wo Sarpanch ke paas bhi ho gaya hai. So
Okay.
you have to have a better brand because you are a member of parliament.
Okay, better brand. We'll go to Pradeep again. Pradeep's been patiently waiting. Pradeep, final words on this whole issue of crorpatis and MPs?
Two points to make. One, that what we have done with the information that we have, right? MPs, before becoming MP and after he or she goes as an MP, the wealth actually goes up like anything. This is something which must be investigated by any agency. Also, this should be Lokpal. It should be a mandatory investigation so that we ensure that we make use of the information. One.
Okay.
Two is take it or not take. I still am in favor of electoral reform, bringing in state funding of elections, so that there's a chance of corruption during elections. Understanding quite well that taking so much of burden, financial burden, but I think we can afford for it if it actually leads to drastic reduction of corruption in electoral politics.
Definitely. I'm sure the Election Commission will also take note of it. Thank you so much, Pradeep, for joining in the conversation. We hope to have you more often on our conversations. So, final words from you, Anil sir. There was the image of a parliamentarian earlier used to be a man in a kurta pajama and one jhola and walking into parliament. I mean, is that going to be extinct like the tigers?
Now you have quite a cosmopolitan and I would say a mixed sort of a crowd there, and there are more and more young people who are entering the place. So let's hope things will improve. But I just want to give a last this thing that one, the political will is not there to change things. Whenever there is anything done against the political party's interests, they all gang up together. You take the RTI, you take various other things, Lokpal bill and all that. And they try to subvert the thing. The RPA section 77 also, which lays down very clearly that you have to give details of the election expenditure from the date of this thing and all. They added explanation 1, which circumvents the section 77. So the only way is pressure from the civil society, from the media, from the good organizations like the Election Commission of India, and there has to be a ceiling on their expenditure. There has to be a monitoring of the expenditure before the elections, not after. The Election Commission has to be empowered to be able to start monitoring, like they declared the PM candidate from September 13, and the rally started. Where is all that money accounted for? There is no counting. So the Election Commission must be given powers to see this beforehand.
Okay, so on that note, we'll wrap up. Thank you so much, Ashok Wankhede and Anil Verma for joining in the conversation, and of course Pradeep and Sanjay Singh for joining in. So there you have it. A lot of discussion that has happened, and our expert panel feels that there are still a lot of loopholes that are being used by our political parties and our politicians, and that's why we see the number of millionaires going up in parliament. But if you want to be a part of our discussion, you can also join in. You can log on to our site indiapostlive.com and send us your comments. You can even send us your message on Twitter. Our Twitter handle is @IndiaPostLive. Just log in and leave a message. We'll try and get back to you. So there you have it. Some sort of loopholes that the Election Commission and all our politicians need to start introspecting on how to make it more a free and fair election whenever we have elections around the corner. So thank you so much for watching, and conversations will continue on India Post Live.